Hello, everyone who's out there still. We appreciate you coming. Or anybody that wants to come up is more than welcome. I had a good vacation going home seeing my sisters. Well, three of them. Uh, I have three sisters that still live in Terre Haute. So I was able to go home and visit them. My one brother in law in Terre Haute, my cousin George. Hey, Melanie, thank you for coming. And Jane, thank you for coming. Give me a minute. And there you go, so you don't feel lonely. If you're a novice with technology like I am, if you want to share your channel, just type in three L's, LLL, and then my Nightbot will drop your link for you. Or if you want to drop it on your own, go ahead. That's why I give you the blue jacket. I personally prefer the Nightbot dropping mine whenever I visit somebody. Yeah, I like I said, went home. I was lucky. My sister that had the heart attack, Michelle Life, how you doing? Uh, like I said, my sister who had the heart attack, she got home the same day that I got there, which was her birthday. So she got home on her birthday, which was Sunday. On a Sunday, she got home around noon. I didn't get there at about 4, and so she was home the whole time. Uh, she's still, getting recuperating. You don't get over a heart attack right away, and she had to have that stent put in, and then she's got a monitor that's monitoring her heart that she's got to wear till the end of September at least to make sure everything's working right. So it was great to go home and see her. I really didn't want to go this time of year. This time of year is very much like the Philippines in that it gets in the 90s up to 100 degrees. Gets some days are very humid. The whole time I was home was in the 90s every day. Once or twice it got into low hundreds, like 102 or so. Humidity around 70 to 80% a lot of the time. So that's what I grew up with during the summer. June and July are the hot months. Now, we don't get it all like you guys in the Philippines. We don't get it the whole time, but we usually get a few weeks of it. Christina Vlogs, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Uh, we're glad you're here. Like I said, anybody that wants to come up, the link at the top, just I do require that you show your face. I've had too many people come up with not showing their face, and they show something else, and so you have to, they cause a lot of trouble trying to be funny or whatever they think they're being or being racist. I don't play that game. Uh, so, like I said, Hannah, Jane, Christine, Melanie, Michelle, any of you that want to come up, you're more than welcome. I don't know how many of you noticed that I'm wearing new glasses. I had to get a new prescription, and well, my skin is if I wear nickel-plated jewelry, it turns my skin green. So I can't wear anything but silver or gold or platinum, the expensive metals. Hey, Mike, how you doing? And the VA no longer has the platinum glass frames, which is what I was willing to pay extra, but they no longer offer it. So I went with a clear plastic. I've never had the clear plastic. I wore plastic before. I'm not crazy about them. I kind of like these clear plastics. I like the looks of them, so I decided that was what I was going to get. And welcome to my neighbor to the north, a good man. Sometimes he's wrong, but so am I at times. Yes, Michelle, I noticed that, but like I said, I know who you are because I follow you, so welcome. And like I said, anybody that wants to come up can more than welcome. Uh, I still recuperating from my trip as an older person. Uh, the longer trips take a little more time to get over. It's mostly just getting enough sleep and because I have to work, I couldn't sleep in as much as I'd like. I did today, so I feel a lot better. Uh, and I'm the kind of person I don't get trouble with my travel until I go back home. It seems that's the case. I went to China in 1999, spent a little over 3 weeks in China. No trouble when I went over, no jet lag, anything. I got up and moved around and had a lot of fun. And then, hey, Susanna, I just saw you come in. I'm sorry I didn't mention you earlier. But like I said, when I got over there, I had no trouble. I was up and at it, and just like, and it was real easy on me. But when I came back, that's when I had trouble. I had jet lag real bad. It took me months to get over because back then I had sleep apnea, but I wasn't being treated for it. And I didn't get my machine. I got back and was in right around September. I got back from China that year. And I did get my machine in, I want to say January. It might have been a little later, but the following year. It was like, no, it wasn't January. It was like February or March. I finally got the machine. And I didn't recoup until I got the machine. Because not only did, hey, Megan, thank you for coming. And Derek, glad to see you, sir. But like I said, it was a lot different. But I've been using the machine ever since the year 2000. So I've been using see, hey, Eileen, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Oh, ABC sending you. Well, when you go back, tell her thank you. And so, like I said, it was very tough on me. I could drink a cup of coffee, and while I'm drinking it, if I set it down, I'd fall asleep. As long as my, hey Jerry, how you doing, man? But as long as my mind was active, I was okay. It's when I was relaxing I had trouble. Chelsea, how you doing, Chelsea? Thank you for coming. So I got the machine, and like I said, around February, March of 2000. So I've been using a CPAP now for over 25 years. I get a lot better sleep. There's still times I have trouble, but that's either because I'm not getting enough sleep because I don't go to bed soon enough. So there's different things I got to still worry about. But like I said, I'm a lot better off than I was back then. And there you go. Now remember, everybody, if you have a YouTube channel, and if you want to, let people know, go ahead. If you want to do it on your own, go ahead. Or you can just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your YouTube channel for you. It can be capital L's or small L's. It doesn't matter, as long as there's 3 L's. And that's all it takes. The only thing I request is that you be kind to each other. You don't have to like each other, but be polite. All right. Like I said, I like to run a nice, clean channel where we're polite and friendly to each other. Now, I've been looking at some things, and right now it still looks good for me to move to, or at least go to the Philippines next year. Right shortly after the first of the year, won't be January or February. It'll probably be like May, April, more like April, maybe March. Hey Lorraine, thank you for coming. Like I said, so unless something happens to change, that's what I'm shooting for, but I'll know more as time goes on. Now next week, I'll let you know about my dental. Because the dental could derail me for next year if I let it. I'm right now thinking about the hell with it. I can live like this, but if I can get a partial, I'll get it. But I'm not going to worry about getting permanent teeth put in. I don't think right now. I just don't think I could. I couldn't afford it and still move next year. And if I do it, I'll have to put it off to the year after. And I'm really not wanting to do that unless I. We'll find out. Like I said, I have a dental appointment on Monday. I'll talk to him and I see what we can do. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a partial. And if I get the partial, it's good. It's good to go next year. Exactly what month will be determined later by how much I have to spend on things, and how I can. How should I say this? How quickly I can put the money back. All right, now my plan is still go to Cebu first. If that was to change, I would probably. I don't know. I like Iloilo a lot. Davao as well. But right now the plan is to go to Cebu first, check it out. If I decide I don't like it, then I'll check out some other places. I do want to go to Dumaguete and Valencia just to see them. I don't think I will move there, although there would be options for me. Dumaguete over Valencia. But I like Iloilo. It's very clean, very walkable, bicycle friendly. So that's something to take in consideration. I may have to turn to bicycles for exercise more than walking because, well, my feet have been bothering me for about almost a year now. And hopefully they'll eventually get better again, but I can't count on that. But we'll see. Like I said, I know a lot more about Cebu because some of you in here, like Mike and Jerry, they know about Chris and Cebu. Raylene, from Chris and Cebu? Yeah, how's she doing? I haven't seen her in a long time. Mike, how's she doing? And how's Smiley doing? Do you still talk to Smiley once in a while? Raylene started, if the one I'm thinking of, she started a small channel. I followed her for a while, then she quit vlogging. So I don't know whatever happened to her. Like I said, she was vlogging, then she quit. I'm trying to remember who she was interested in dating. I don't know if they ever really dated, or in other words, I don't know if it was long distance or if they ever got together. I don't remember. That's cool. What's your channel called, Mike? Because Raylene may remember me as Lazy Larry, not Lazy Larry Lee. I'm trying to remember if I'd changed my name to Simply Net. How you been? Been a while. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, I just got back on Sunday last week from my trip to Terre Haute, and was almost 900 miles in 2 days, like 885 miles one way. So I did about almost 1,700 miles, a little over 1,700 miles round trip, plus the driving I did in between. So I drove almost, in 1 week, I drove almost 2,000 miles. So that, like I said, I'm getting older. That takes a little more out of me. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she went there. She had to go there for, if I remember right, wasn't it 3 years? 2 or 3 years she had to go there so they could get their citizenship. And yeah, it's been a while. She's actually a different Raylene than I'm thinking of, but I do remember her as well. Now that you mentioned the Norwegian part, uh, so I'll have to check that. But Elvie's doing a live stream, so I'll probably go to Elvie's after this. I hope if y'all know each other, please feel free to say hi. If not, please feel free to introduce yourselves to each other. Like I said, I do my live stream because I enjoy. Let's be honest, I enjoy talking, and I enjoy interacting with my guests, my subscribers, however you want to describe yourself. I enjoy it. I've been known to go for hours. Uh, Usually, I don't go much more than an hour if I'm by myself. All right, you got somebody. Now, Mike,
Lazy Larry,
you're gonna have to show your picture, or otherwise, I can't let you come up. I got to see your actual face, Mike. I don't know you, so until you show me your picture, I mean not your picture, your face. I want to see an actual person. Uh, Otherwise, I don't want you coming up. Nothing against you, but you need to show who you are, not just a picture with sunglasses. That's still hidden. You see, I'm right here. I show you my face. You can see who I am. The people I lit up, that's the way I want it to be. No hiding behind uh, an avatar. I mean, I can put myself in an avatar. Uh, Let me see. Different. They've changed the thing on me. I hate that when they change the stuff. But anyway, like I said, I want to see the person. There's nothing against you coming up. You want to come up if you want to show your face, and I don't mean a picture of you. Show yourself, so everybody's going to know what you look like. If you start spouting off, acting like a jerk, everybody's going to know what you look like and know who you are. I don't. I've had too many people do that behind an avatar, and I even have people do it when they show their own face. But at least they got the guts to show their own face. So, like I said, I'm an easygoing person, but I do. I want each person to respect the other. You don't have to like each other. I can't. I don't have the right to tell you to say you have to like each other. That is not within my preview or preview, however you want to say it. But it is within my right to say you got to be respectful to each other, and that's what I want. I want everybody to be respectful. Uh, to me, it doesn't matter if you like each other or not, as long as you're respectful. You don't have to agree with each other. Mike married to a beautiful woman, and I disagree on some things, but we're respectful. I actually like Mike; he's an intelligent person. But like I said, we do have disagreements as far as some things go politically. To be honest. Hey, Gracie, how you doing, Maria Gacy? Thanks for coming. I noticed that ABCM is sending a raid, so we appreciate that from ABCM. And I'm going to have to do something for ABCM. Let me see if I can do that right now. And Christina Vlogs. Remember, everybody, be kind to each other. There you go, Melanie. Show them how it's done. Type in 3Ls. Thank you, Melanie. Anybody else that wants to do it, go right ahead. And just did that. That's just telling me I did something that I already know I did. But yeah. Thank you, Hannah and Jane. If you're going to be in the background, we appreciate it. Like I said, later on, whenever I quit, I will go to. All right, Mike. I want a MSA, MASA, Make America Straight Again. That's pretty good, Mike. I have to give you that one. But now, did it have rainbow colors, Mike? I'd have to laugh my butt off seeing you wear that one. That would be a good one, Mike. I know some people would love to see that hat. I used to, well, I haven't seen them in a long time, but I used to know a couple of gay people. Some when I was in the military, some since I got out. And they would love that hat. I got along with them. So, like I was talking to somebody on a different live stream, Elvis, I believe, and a guy was talking about something, and I said, I'm not against immigration. I just want it to be legal. Des, how you doing? Thank you for coming, Des. We appreciate it. But I don't look it. I happen to be a slim part of Native American. My grandmother, my mom's mom, was raised on the reservation in just outside of Philippa, West Virginia. My mom's been there, so some of my sisters. I don't know if all of them have been there or not, but I know 2 or 3 have been there. I think 3 of them, along with my aunt and some cousins. I couldn't get the time off from work to go. They went down and met some of that family. I'd never met. What happened was my mom's uncle Orange, my great uncle, not my great great uncle, I can't remember which. Uncle Orange left Terre Haute. He always kind of was a different cat. He'd get a wild hair up his backside and he'd do something. And he'd be gone for a couple months or more at a time. So when he took off, the family didn't think about anything about it. Well, Mita, how you doing? You're from ABCM? Well then, sir, let me do you a favor. We'll give you a monitor. But like I said, he got a wild hair up his backside and decided he wanted to go back to home, which is, like I said, they were from Philippa, West Virginia. So now, mind you, he's like 96 at the time, 95, 96. He hitchhiked from Terre Haute, Indiana to Philippa, West Virginia, checked himself into a nursing home because he wanted to go home to die. And so after he died, the nursing home and stuff got a hold of his daughter, Virginia Bell, which, like I said, is my mom's her first cousin. Our first cousin went through, like I said, a distant cousin to me, but my mom, I think mom's first cousin, I believe. But anyway, I got a hold of her and informed her about her father. And so anyway, she informed the rest of the family, and the reservation invited the family down to visit. And so, like I said, a bunch of my relatives, my mom, three of my sisters, my one sister's brother, husband, so a brother-in-law, and then some cousins and aunts and uncles went down. And they spent about a week down there getting to know different people and all that. I would love to go, but I just couldn't do it. But like I said, I'm very very little Native American. I mean, now my older brother, he was a little darker complected like the Native American. So was my oldest sister. But the rest of us, besides my mom, I mean, we were more like our father, a little lighter complected. My dad had dark hair, but he had a red beard. So I had red hair and a red beard, so that came from my father's side. My younger brother had that too, but my older brother had the dark hair, more dark brown than black. My mom's black hair. But like I said, my grandfather, my mom's dad, and his family, they came from the Germany French area back before the Civil War. They migrated here. Now my mom's mother's Caucasian side came from Scotland back before the Revolutionary War. Matter of fact, her direct ancestor fought in the Revolution. So my mom, direct descendant of one of the Revolutionary fighters. But that's so I could trace my family back on both sides. Well, my mom's side, both sides of hers, to the 1850s to the 1750s or 60s, I think, is when I think he jumped ship. Yeah, he was forced to the British Royal Navy. They got to the United States. He jumped ship, ran out into the wilderness and stayed. Ended up married to a Native American woman. And when the Revolutionary War broke out, he joined the Americans and fought on the American side. All that, I guess, is documented. This is all things people tell me. But, it's just, like I said, I have nothing against immigration. We were all, I believe even the Native Americans were immigrants at one time. Just they go back so far that nobody can say when. And that's the same thing with Canada. I mean, we're all immigrants. And even in Mexico, there are a lot of immigrants in there. Hey, Pierre, how you doing, Shell? Thank you for coming. But like I said, no, I have the, I've heard that ABC is sending a rate, so I appreciate it. But like I said, I have a dental appointment on Monday. I'll find more about my teeth and I'll make more of a definitive decision on what I'm going to do. So that'll be next week's topic. We'll talk about it. And so it's starting to look more and more like I will be able to go sometime next year. At least that's the way I'm planning it out. I got to drink my green tea. But so if anything works out right, it'll be, probably say somewhere around April, somewhere around there. If everything works out right, I may have to add some months to it to get it to work out right, but shouldn't be much later than that if I can do what I want to do with my dental. I want to get a partial. If I can get the partial, everything will be cool. We appreciate it, Michelle. And like I said, right now, my plan is to go to Cebu. And then, like I said, even if I decide to stay in Cebu and make that my permanent place of living, I still want to go to. Hey, Leah and Leah, thank you for coming. I want to check out, like I said, Dumaguete and Valencia. I'd like to go to Iloilo, Davao, and a few other places. I mean, there's some areas I'd like to check. There's some areas that I would think about living in, but if I just find where I want to live, I won't go there to visit. There's just not that much there. As far as I know, there'd be a decent hospital, affordable housing, but there's so many places I'd like to see that unless I'm looking for a place to live, I won't go to those places. Because like I have to go to Manila. I want to go see the World War II cemetery. I think it's in BGC. It could be Makati. I want to go see it. I'd like to see the Grand Canal, the Venice Grand Canal Mall. I'd like to see that. That's also in Manila area. So, I have to visit Manila. I don't have a desire to live in Manila, but I do have to go there to visit. Yeah, there's a lot of tourist places in Cebu, but it's not going to be the tourist places that keep me. They'll keep me interested in the area, but I want to find an area that I'm comfortable living, not just going out and seeing things. I'll probably once I find a place to live, I'll probably make Cebu a long-term spot. Because let's say I decide I don't want to live in Cebu, I still got to find a place to live. So you still need a home base, so you can go out and check and come back, go out and check and come back. Take a week here, take a week there, and not not for the whole month. We got all month. Just take a week and go. Because once I retire working, I will be on a much more limited income. As much as I hate admitting that, I will be. And so that's something I have to learn to deal with. As much as I hate it, I will do that. I mean, it's just that simple. ABCM, thanks. Not a problem, ABCM. I meant to do it before. I kept forgetting, and then you said in the raid, I decided to do it. Now I was thinking about it. Now, is this one for August, ABCM? Is it August or is it? Like I was saying, no, I mean, right now, I will lose a little over half my income once I quit working. And so if I go to the Philippines, I can live a lot better in the Philippines than I can here without working. If I own my car, all right, that's what I was. I didn't remember the date, but I thought that was right month. Danny, how you doing, man? I was just talking about it. Right now, everything looks like if I can get the partial, looks like I will be going early next year, somewhere around April or middle of the next. I guess maybe that's not early. Depends on what you call early. Well, that's good. Like I said, if I had my car paid off, I could afford to live here, but I couldn't afford to do anything at all. I mean, my rent would be over almost half my income, just my rent. That's not counting utilities, not counting groceries, not counting internet and all my phones. There's not counting any of that stuff. My rent alone would be almost half my income once I quit working. So, like I said, I'd have to have my car paid off. So that means I'd have to work at least another year to get that done. And even then, I would be watching my money very closely and be almost staying home, going nowhere, not even back to Indiana to visit family, but maybe for a week once a year. And then nothing else the rest of the year. That would be it. Stay home, watch TV, go out and walk around a little bit when the weather's nice. And I mean, just in my apartment complex, or buy a bicycle and ride. But driving to the gym, huh? Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to have to start doing, I think, some chair exercises, try to get this down a little bit more. But so yeah, it's we're like I said right now, Cebu's first choice. Then it's going to come down to Iloilo and Davao, and then a few other places. Those are the two places after right now that I would consider the most. Now that could change, and very well, if I like I said, if I decide Cebu's not in, it very well could change because I may decide either one of the two places are not for me because either I can't takes too much of my income to pay for a place to live and have groceries and everything else like that. Because, like I said, I'm going to be on a limited income, and I'll have to watch my money much closer than I do right now. That's what working does for me. Working lets me enjoy my life, but I've been working over 50 years. I'm getting tired of it. I'm ready to retire, and so right now we're trying to save as much money. I actually have, if I had to move right now, outside of the cost of getting there, I have enough money to go there and live for a month or two. I have enough money to go, but I wouldn't have an emergency savings fund. I wouldn't have, like I said, it'd be a limited income. It really would be a limited, but only because I still have my Social Security that would make it doable. But like I said, I got to have more money than that in case something goes wrong. I'm 71 years old. What if happens to I have to go to medical? Crystal, how you doing, Crystal? Thank you for coming. And so, like I said, it just it's stuff that you have to watch out for. It's stuff I have to take in consideration before I go. Like I said, at my age, I really do have to think about what if there's a medical problem. You know, that's why I say Cebu, Iloilo, Davao. Uh, I have to look at places that's got good health care. Uh, I'm not near the best health care in the world. I'm near good health care. And that's what I want to be near good health care. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, the last 2 weeks I was traveling and I was traveling, going to and then coming back from. And I didn't want to take a computer with me because I got to my sisters. They don't have internet. They don't want it. I stayed with two of my sisters. Like I said, the one that had a heart attack and one of my other sisters, they live together. And they don't have internet. They do not want internet. They don't have a computer. They don't have a smartphone. They have no interest in that stuff. They're not a whole lot older than I am. My oldest sister, who's 5 years, 10 years older than me, 5 years older than the sister that had the heart attack, she has internet, she got a iPhone, the top of the line. She likes to play on the computer. She's into all that. My younger sister is too. But these two sisters, the middle two, no desire whatsoever. So I understand that. I mean, that's, it's their life. They choose what they want. And like I said, so whenever I use the internet, I have to go somewhere else to get on the internet. I did a vlog on Bears Coffee. It used to be called Little Bears. Now they just call it Bears. Same place, same owner, same everything. They just dropped the little from the name. And they have free internet if you're there as a customer. So I go there almost every day for a cup of coffee because my two sisters don't drink coffee, and I am a coffee drinker. So I'll go there and get a cup of coffee, maybe a bite to eat. It's not good stuff for me, but I'm on vacation, so maybe I'll get a muffin, and I'll sit there and drink a cup of coffee, get on the internet, do what I got to do for that day, and or check my emails and stuff. Yeah, there a lot of places have that here in the States, Crystal. You can go get a cup of coffee and they'll have free internet as long as you're a customer. But not every place, so you really got to know the place you're going to. Like I said, Bear's Coffee has it, and it's only a maybe 2 miles from my sister's, so it's not very far at all by car. I mean, if you were walking, it's a good little walk, but by driving, it's not far at all. So I'll go there. I'll go in, get a cup of coffee, and if I really feel like laying around some, I'll get a second cup. I'll get a large cup of coffee first, and I'll sit there on my phone and check my email. And because, like I said, I can't really do that at my sister's. So that's what I do. In the morning, I'll go there after I get up. I usually get up before my sisters. They like to stay up late. Then they get up late. So I usually get up before them, and then I go get the coffee. And I'll come back. They'll be up, and I'll probably either eating their breakfast or just finished their breakfast. But like I said, it was good to visit with them. It's for me, it's the wrong time of year to visit. Like I said, the weather in Indiana, especially my hometown, reminds me of the Philippines about the same time of year, except when we don't get all the rain. Now, we did get some rain, and all that did was make it more muggy, and it still got back up around 90 or bit better. Every day it rained. Like I said, every day I was there. The whole time. Hey, Viking, how you doing? Every day I was there, got into the 90s. I was there for, about 7 days, and I got into the 90s every day. And it was in the 90s the week before, according to my sisters. So it's been about 2 weeks straight of 90s or better. And that's typical. Like I said, when I was growing up, if we didn't get at least 2 weeks of 90 degrees or more, at least 2 weeks, you had a cool summer. Normally you get 3-4 weeks of 90-degree weather. Like I said, that's nothing like the Philippines. I know the Philippines gets a lot more than that, but like I said, it's very similar for that month or two, June and July, and part of August. Right in there, you can have 90s every day or upper 80s at least, almost no breeze. So there are days the wind just not moving. I mean, it did. And there's other times it's very windy. But there's a lot of times it gets in the 90s, and if you count the humidity, it gets into the hundreds. And there's times it actually gets into the hundreds without the humidity. And but that's what I grew up with, so I'm kind of used to that. But now I live out in New York, we don't get that kind of weather as often. We do get it, but not as often. And so I always kind of prefer to go back in late August or September, October. For me, weather-wise, is the best time to go. You go back late August through September, early October. Your temperatures could be anywhere from highs could be anywhere from 50 to 80, but the humidity will be way down. It's a lot more pleasant. The lows usually will be around 40 or 50 to 60. Depending on what time you're going. So like I said, it can get pretty cool, but not cold like wintertime. And if you go back like I said, it's September, October, that's when the leaves change colors. It's very pretty, but it's very pretty here in New York as well, the leaves change. So like I said, I really enjoy going home later in the year. Like I said, around September, I really enjoy going the most. Because like I said, there again, it's the highs are anywhere from around 70 to 80 usually, with the lows at about 60. So it's very pleasant. You don't need the heat. You don't need the air condition. During the day, you might use a fan, but you don't need air condition. At night, you sleep just under a sheet or a blanket if you're cold-blooded. I always sleep under a sheet. Even during the dead of winter. So, but that's me. I mean, there's people like even in the hottest part of the summer, they want a blanket. Like, here's a blanket, give me the sheet. I'll be fine. And like right now, I got a fan blowing on me. But like I said, I sleep more hot than cold. So anyway, that's me. I see no one's coming up. I had one guy wanted to come up, but he wouldn't show himself. He wanted to show a picture. I'm not playing that game. Too many people have come up with a picture, and you don't know if that picture's of them or somebody else. That's the thing. Show me who you are. And come on up. But a lot of times the people that do that, not always, but I've had enough of them come up and say all kinds of junk and try to stir up trouble, and I just don't want that. You guys, those that know me, know that that's not my game. I like to treat each and everyone with respect. Like I said, I don't have to like you. I don't know why I have to say that in my ear. There's nobody else up but me. But anyway, like I said, I'm just, if you aren't willing to show who you are and come up and show your face, actual face, not a picture of you, where we can see you moving and talking, not hiding in the shadows, then come on up. I'll let you up. And then if you want to act like an idiot, everybody can see what you look like. Because sometimes you'll get one guy that'll do it, you get him up and you shut him down, then somebody else will want to do it. That's happened to me more than once. So I try to keep from it. But we'll see how things go. But yeah, it's still fun. It's still enjoyable. And as long as I'm enjoying doing this, I'll keep doing this. We'll find out if I enjoy it when after I move to the Philippines. I don't know if I'm going to take this. Hey, Dan, how you doing, man? Sorry to hear about the brownout, man. I was just saying, I got my dental appointment Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. So next week, I will discuss what's going on with my dental. We're supposed to be making a plan. I'm hoping to be able to do a partial. If I can do the partial, next year I will be in the Philippines, unless something else happens. My plan is to go there around April if I can get the partial. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I got to go to the Capital Smiles. It's a place in Schenectady, Dan. I know you know the area, but it's in Schenectady, which is not far from where I live. The other place I went to is in Mechanicsville. It's a little farther, but we'll find out. I'm hoping I can just do the partial. I still have to go back to Terre Haute at least once more because I need to get some. I didn't do it when I was home because I was more worried about my sister. I need to go to the courthouse and get a certified copy of my DD 214. Hello, M. I don't know who you are, so it's like how M. If you don't mind, tell me how you heard about me, how you found the live. If you come again, I'll give you because I don't know you. I can't give you a jacket right now. I'll have to find out a little bit more about you. Well, I appreciate you coming and checking it out. You will notice I have you may not notice, I have a lot of people here from the Philippines and a lot of people interested in going to the Philippines. Also people from, there are some people here probably from Thailand. I do a vlog about my YouTube channel is mainly about what I find interesting. Right now, I live just outside of Albany, New York, which is the capital district. I was on vacation last week. I happened to be in a wreck last week, so I got a video up showing the damage that was done to my car, which was very little. And it was surprising if you know that. Yeah, I can understand that, Dad, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm seriously thinking about any major dealer work. Just wait until I get to the Philippines and have the money and do it in the Philippines. I mean, hey, if y'all want to see this, there it is. I mean, yeah, that's one of the things. I used to have a bridge, and I wasn't having as far as pain or anything like that. No pain. One of them must have rotted out because the bridge is attached to your teeth, and the other one, because it was supporting the whole thing, eventually gave and it broke out when I was eating carrots. I was eating the baby carrots. So anyway, that's what that's all about. And so I'm trying to decide whether or not if I could go with a partial. All right, M, if you have a channel of your own, just type in Triple L, nothing else, Triple L, and my Nightbot will drop your link. Just drop in 3 L's. It can be capital or small, doesn't matter. But yeah, like I said, then I had one where I went to with my cousin to my favorite Mexican restaurant in Terre Haute, Indiana, which is where I'm originally from, and I got a short video on that. I usually do a live stream every week on Saturdays. I don't do as much videos right now as I used to. Probably should get back into doing more. But I don't walk as much as I used to because my feet have been bothering me for about a year. So I'll have to try to do that or find some things to do some shorts on. Trying to get my energy back up. Because when I quit walking as much, I lost energy because I gained weight. I'm a diabetic, so my sugar A1C went up. I need to get that back down, so I'm trying to eat better. I'm walking more than I was, but not as much as I used to walk. I used to be able to walk 3 miles without stopping. Oh, God, it's been over a couple of years ago. My very first video was, hello, my name's Lazy Larry. A lot of people were asking me because I used to go on live streams and I always commented as Lazy Larry. Well, first Larry Lee, which is my real name. And there was a guy that I went to that his live stream, he had three or four other Larrys. There was Larry B, Larry G, and me, Larry Lee. And there was a Larry Outdoors or something like that. But Larry B, Larry G, and Larry Lee sounds a lot alike. So if somebody wanted to ask, like the guy wanted to ask a question, if you weren't paying real close attention, and he said Larry G, you might have thought he said Larry Lee. So I decided to change my channel name to Lazy Larry. And people were always asking me how come Lazy Larry, because I'm working all the time back then. I'm still working. 71 years old, and I still work 38 hours a week. I'm at work for 40 every week. But I have to take a half hour off without pay, but I only work 4 days a week. So they always ask me why Lazy Larry. So I made a video explaining how I got the name Lazy Larry and why I used it on my channel. And then I don't know if Mike's still here or not, but Mike married to a beautiful woman. I think it was one of the people who asked me. They were having a hard time finding my channel because whenever they typed in Lazy Larry, a lot of cartoons popped up showing this Lazy Larry cartoon character. So I added the name Lee, Lazy Larry Lee, to my channel name, and voila, I'm the first thing that pops up. At least I was back then. So I did another video saying why I changed my name to Lazy Larry Lee to explain that. And I also did most of my first videos were what I call talking heads. Talking head videos pretty much like this, except for you're not You don't have an audience that you're talking. You just get on there, talk about the subject you want to talk about, and that's it. So my first few videos were that way. I did a couple unboxings. Then I started doing walking videos and going to special interest places like car shows. I went to the motorcycle rally in Lake George area. Well, yeah, it's simple, buddy. What you got to do is you got to decide what you're interested in and do that. And that people that don't like it won't watch, and other people that like it will watch and subscribe. Uh, and you can't worry about what other people think. If you're doing something that you enjoy doing, continue doing it. Just make sure it doesn't break the rules of YouTube. So I mean, don't put up nudity because that breaks the rules. Not all in vulgar language. That'll break the rules. So you really gotta. But I started off. It took me forever to get to 100 subscribers. Then it was forever to get to 300. And I don't know how long it took me before I got to 1,000. Well over a year, almost 2 years. And now I'm at 1,400, a little over 1,400. Hey, Dave, how you doing, sir? I don't know which Dave this is, but thank you for coming. Like him, if you'll need to come a few times because I don't know who you are to get a jacket. But if you have a channel, type in 3 L's and my Nightbot will drop your channel, and others can check it out and see if they want to follow you. Dave, you're going to have to do better than that, buddy. I can't see you. If I can't see you, you're not coming up. You're going to have better light. I got to be able to see your face. All right, I'm going to bring you up, Dave. Hang on, I won't be able to hear you until I get my earplugs in.
No problem, sir.
So how you doing?
Where do I know you from, sir? Do I know you from?
Dave, for some reason you're mute.
Oh, shit.
Make sure you got your mic on. Now that you're mute there, try again. Now try talking.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Go ahead, try talking. I can see you.
Can you not hear now? Hello?
Turn your mic up.
Fucking is, dude.
I can't. Right now it shows you got your mic. Your mic is muted. And it's still showing your mic is muted. Try again.
Hello? Hello? What the
I'm sorry, Dave, but your mic is not working.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh,
so I'm gonna go ahead and take you down because your mic's not working.
Can you hear me now?
Whenever you get it working, try to come back up.
Okay.
All right, take care, man. Bye. All right, everybody. We tried to get him up, but his mic wasn't working. You can hear? Are you telling me it's my mic I'm having trouble with? I'm sorry about that if it's mine. There's nothing I can do if I can't hear him. I mean, whether it's his problem or mine, I couldn't hear him. So it may be, maybe it's my earplugs. I may have to get some new ones. And I couldn't hear a thing, which is a shame because, like I said, I enjoy talking to people. Anybody that knows me knows that. But yeah, Dan, like I said, right now it's looking good for next year. But I do have to go back to Indiana and get a copy of my DD 214 because, well, I'm seriously thinking about maybe try if I like it, trying to get the what is it, SRV or RSSV special, the military retirement visa. But so I want to get a copy of my DD 214, get a certified copy, because the only ones I have now are copies of copies, and that wouldn't be acceptable. So I need to get an original copy, get it certified. I have no plans to get married, but I am interested in knowing what I'd have to do to prove I've never been married. I've never been married. I wonder what I'd have to do that. I have no plans not to get married. I just don't have plans one way or the other. My plan is to go over to the Philippines, find a place that I'm comfortable with my income and the lifestyle that I'm living there, and what I mean. Hey, man, Gay, how you doing? And try to find a place that I enjoy. Like I said, Cebu is my first stop. There's places like Iloilo and Davao, and if I go to Leyte, there's some areas over there. In Leyte, I wouldn't mind checking out, but I don't know if I'd want to move to Leyte. It's nothing against Leyte. Like I said, you guys live in a very lovely area, but I'm looking for hospitals that I feel safe being around. I don't know how the hospitals are. What's your best hospital? That's the area I'd want to move to. And then how much does that area cost? How safe is it from storms? All these things are things I want to take into consideration. Oh wow! I never. That's something I've never done before, Dan. Yeah, but yeah. The fees for the former military. I just watched that girl Terry. Is it Jennifer Terry? She does a lot of videos on the Philippines and the requirements and stuff. I just watched a video that she was talking about the increases and the military increase. There is an increase in the military, but not the cost of the visa. The amount of money that you have to put in the bank is still the same, but the cost of applying is going up $100, and then the yearly cost is going to go up to $100 a year. Still one heck of a deal. Still one heck of a deal because you can come and go as you want. You look at what it costs you per month if you go as a tourist. How much it costs every month just to renew your tourist visa. That's still one heck of a deal. So it is something I want to check out. I want to make sure I'm qualified and all that good happy stuff. So like I said, that's why I want to get a copy of my DD 214. And yes, folks, Jennifer Terry. I just watched. She had a video on it that came up. I can't remember which channel I was watching on, whether it was the my main channel here or my backup channel, which I have more than one channel, so I'm not sure which one it was. I want to say it was my main channel, so I'm thinking about maybe subscribing to her. I'm subscribed to JRC. But I want to find out some things, and that's something I'll be checking. I'm going to tell you the truth now. It might, but it's still one heck of a deal. It's now maybe for the others. Now, if you've already now, she says I think it's. I want to say it was either August 1st or I want to say September 1st is when it takes effect. So if you apply before that, it doesn't affect. It won't affect anybody doing it before the change date, which I want to say. I think she said September 1st. But so anybody thinking about doing it and worried about the increase in amount of money, do it before September 1st or wherever that deadline is. You can save yourself some money. And so that is what I'm going to be, But with me, it'll cost me an extra $100 to for the application, not for what I have to put in the bank. And it'll cost me, I think it was $10 a year. Now it's going to be $100. But that's, come on, compared to what you pay a couple months, like 3 months would pay that $100. You're still saving a heck of a lot of money. And like you said, as a veteran, it's still a really dang good a deal. And borrowing a term from LV Rose Inso, that's one fudging good deal. That's a fudge good deal, buddy. Yeah, but that has a lot to do with other things. And if tourism goes down, that should lower cost of things too. Over the long run, it may take a while before it does it. But that's one of the strengths that I think the Philippines has compared to Thailand and maybe Vietnam. Their tourism is not as big of from what I hear, is not as big of their economy as it is for the Thai people. And the tourist industry is huge for them. So if they lose a lot of tourists, that can really upset the apple cart, so to say. But myself personally, I thought about Thailand, but their rules change so much. They're so fickle. I decided no, I can't. I don't want to deal with that. I would just as soon do like I'm doing. I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket and go for the Philippines. There are many reasons for it. One is I think their rules are a little more stable. They don't change near as much. Like Jennifer Terry was saying, this is the first increase in that stuff in 25 years. I mean, come on. You can't complain. I didn't know it was that much. I know it's a bigger hit for the Thailand. It has even probably a bigger hit from tourism. Now, see, one of the things that helps the Philippines, where tourism doesn't hit them as hard because of the overseas foreign workers. And they send so much more money back home for their families to invest in the economy, like buy property, condos. They spend a lot of their money that they make in other countries back in the Philippines, whether it's helping their families out or buying property and stuff. So that helps out a lot for them. The Thai don't have that, I don't believe. Well, at least not to the extent that the Philippines have. The Philippines is probably the number one supplier of nurses in the world. And I really think the United States ought to just let the Philippines, like the nurses, if you're a nurse, you should be able to go to the United States without having to get a visa. I'm a nurse, I'm applying to go to work in the United States, I'd like to find a job. boom, you're in. You know, there ought to be some things we can do that they want to talk about the yeah, but how long would that go? From my understanding, that's going to be limited to just a few people. You're going to have to be buying property. You're going to have to be doing some other stuff. Uh, Now, I know some people in Thailand that would affect them to the positive. They're married to a Thailand woman and they own property. So that would help them greatly. That's the thing I'm hearing about that long term is going to be more for those people, not for people like me, who's just over there renting a place to live and trying to make it from day to day. Now, the one thing that Thailand's got over the Philippines is their infrastructure is a little better, their internet and stuff like that. But it's I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm still here. I just got to do something real quick, But anyway, like I said, it just happens to be the Philippines system equates much more to my liking for quite a few reasons. Like I said, the visa system, for one thing. I really like the visa system in the Philippines. Another thing is about 80 to 90% of the people speak English. So I don't have to worry about I'm sorry, I had a private message. Mike, the guy that tried to come up, sent me a message saying he didn't want to dox himself. So I was letting him know that's fine. Just try again some other time. I just noticed it, so I don't know how long it was there. But like I said, though, about 80% or more of the people speak English. It may not be American English or whatever, but it's enough that you can understand each other. And with patience and understanding, you can you can understand each other. So just be careful and be patient and try to be forthright with what you're trying to say. I guess irony doesn't go over that well in the Philippines, from what I understand. That's okay. But the thing that I also, all the signs are in English, so you can get around by yourself. You can see what street you're on, know where you're going. I think both places are friendly. The people are friendly. I have more experience with the Filipinos, like I said, from the time I was in the service. They were all friendly. They were all good workers. Everyone that I worked with was really good workers and worked to improve themselves and their families. I knew quite a few of the Filipinos that were career military. And then some of them were doing it. They were planning on staying in the States, and some of them planned on going back to the Philippines, where they could live a lot better life on the retirement from the military and have a very good life and set themselves up quite well, which is what they were doing. I know one guy, his family helped him get into the Navy. I worked with Jimmy, and there you go, Carly. You should be dropping your. There it is. I was saying it should be dropping it. But his plan was to get his citizenship and stay in the States. I don't know if he decided to change that and decided to do a career, or maybe decided to do a career and stay in the States. I don't know. He was still under his hitch or time, the contract time for the service. I mean, I did over 6 years. He still had time to go when I left the ship. We were on the same ship, Dixie. USS Dixie was a destroyer tender together. We were both ship servicemen. And so I got transferred off and went to the Long Beach CGN 9 before he was to get out. So, and I hadn't seen him after that. So he might have got out, found a job somewhere in the States. He might have stayed in and did a career. I just don't know. I hope he did well. Bernard, trying to think of his last name. Can't remember his last name now. His goal was to do a career. He made E5. He was a go-getter. We went in about the same time. He made E5 and I was still on E3 because I didn't push it. I was pretty much like I am now. I was there for the joy of, for the fun. I finally made E4 because it made sense to do it. And then I got out before I made E5. But I could have. One of the reasons I made E4, I didn't want to get out and say I could have been an E4, I could have been a petty officer, but I didn't try. So it was my fault that I didn't get to E5. I do believe I could have made it, but I can't say I would because my rate later on closed up. But I don't think it was closed up yet when I would have been taking the test. But it was starting to close up when I got E4. It took a score of 60 something. I'm doing well, Carly. I'm doing well. But I took a score of 60 something to make E4. And I got 120 some score, almost double the score. And I didn't get to the last increment. And that increment was somebody made it the first month, somebody the second, somebody made it the third. I made it the third increment. And they go by your test score. I had almost double the score and didn't make it to the third increment. So it was starting to close up. So I might not have been able to get to E5 because it might have been closed by the time if I'd stayed in long enough to make it. I have a friend. Now, he was a Caucasian guy that I served with in the Navy. Matter of fact, he was married to my cousin Linda. They met through me. But he did a career in the Navy and never got above E4. He was also a ship serviceman. And the reason why he was able to do a career, he took the test every time it was offered. And every time it was offered, he PNA'd it, pass but not advance. Well, so long as you pass but you don't get advanced, they'll let you stay in. Now, if you flunk the test, they'd boot you out. But he always passed it. But because it was so closed up, he couldn't get advanced. And it was kind of like a catch-22 in that if he could make E5, he could transfer out of the division into another division that needed help. But you had to be an E5. Well, you couldn't make E5 because nobody at the E5s were getting out of the division. So many people were staying there and not leaving. And so he could never make it. So he did 20 years as an E4, which means he got 50% of his income with a COLA every year for the rest of his life. Now, as an E4, it wasn't real high until after he'd been out a while. But then you get out, you get a job, work, and build up your Social Security, and then after another 20 years, you'd probably be comfortable. But it was very tough, you know. Now, later on, they took the ship servicemen and rolled them in with the storekeepers, which opened things up some, but that was after he got out. So ship servicemen is no longer a rate. There are no more ship servicemen because they got rolled in with the storekeepers. Because they couldn't keep enough storekeepers and they always had too many ship servicemen. Don't ask me why, but that's the way it was. So, like I said, they put them together, and hopefully that straightened both problems out. I don't know. I heard that they did that, so, and that was the reason why. But like I said, that was long after I got out. I mean, that was probably about 20 or 30 years after I got out. They finally wised up and did that. If they'd have done that while my friend was still in, he might have been able to make E5. Now he'd had to study a whole new book and learn everything all over, but that would have given him a shot at it. One doesn't know. It's just you don't know. But at least he got his 20 in, wasn't kicked out. And so now at our age, because he and I are the same age, I might be a year older than him, but he's more close to the same age. If he's still living, he's doing well now. Maybe not as well as he'd like to be. I know I'm not. I'm pretty sure he's not as well as he would like to be. He's probably still thinking, man, if I could have made E5 and got out, maybe made E6, E7, that would have been good. It'd be a lot better off. And depends on what kind of job he got when he got out. And then his wife divorced him and taking away everything he's got. Who knows? He was married. Again, my cousin, she passed away very young. She was only 20 when she passed away. And so that's one of the reasons why he stayed in the military. He'd been married 3 times. Like I said, my cousin was his first wife. She passed away. Second wife, they got a divorce. Third wife, he'd been married to for many years. Last time I heard, they were still married. They'd been married almost 20 years. So third time is the charm for him. But yeah, like I said, I sent out on my Facebook page, I saw this thing that's saying my younger, I'm not doing that well because my younger self never pictured my older self. And that's the way I was. I never thought about getting as old as I am. I never thought I'd get this old. So I lived my life and enjoyed every minute, spent money like a drunken sailor, which I was part of the time. But I never saved for the future, never planned for the future until I was much, much older. And so that affects my income now because I didn't plan for it. But that's all right. I mean, I did what I did that made me who I am. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I enjoy myself. I like myself. Do I have some regrets? Sure, but would I change it? No, not really. Because it would change me, change everything. I mean, I may not be sitting here. I may be in a nursing home somewhere, change something, or might have been divorced and really broke and bitter. You never know. If you change something, it can change everything. And so you can think, well, what if? But I can't really go back and say I would change it, only because of that reason. It'd be nice if you could go back and see what would have happened and then make your choice. But you can't do that. You can't go back and say, if I change this, what's going to happen? Will I like it? Oh, I love this. Let's change it. Or no, man, oh, God, heck no. Let's don't do that. So you can't do that. So you got to live with your choices. And so I've been doing that. I'm going to continue doing that as much as I can. But anyway, so I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I know it's going to be Monday soon in the Philippines. So I hope you have a great week over there. I hope to be joining you guys in less than a year. If everything goes right, I will be. Now, whether I end up staying for good or not, we'll see. Yeah, Dan, I'll tell you the truth. If I can afford to visit some of the other Asian countries, I probably will visit. It won't be at first, because the first thing I want to do is decide where I really want to live. Do I want to live in Cebu? Do I want to live in Ormoc? Or I can't think of the other city, the big city over on the other side of the island, or even Bai Bai. Like I said, if I go to Leyte, those are the areas I would look at. And there may be some others I would look at. But like I said, there's Iloilo, which has got the Riverwalk. It's a very clean, very walkable. Like I said, right now, my plan is the Philippines. And like I said, if I decide that's not for me, I may check out a couple other places. But I got to have, like I said, I have enough money. If I went right now, I can set myself up in the Philippines in a nice apartment and have a little extra money in case something goes wrong, but not much. I'd have to, because it depends. If I got an unfurnished apartment, I wouldn't have much money left at all. If I had a furnished apartment, and now we're talking the money I got now. I got to pay for my plane ticket over there. I got to do a couple other things, so I wouldn't have money back for emergencies. I'd have very little back. That's why I got to keep working. I got to build that emergency fund up. And so if something happens, I can go to the hospital and get it taken care of. Or if I decide I just can't take the heat and the humidity or whatever, I can either go back home or go to another country. You've got to have that money. You've got to be prepared for plan B or plan C. Right now, my plan A is at Cebu. Plan B and C is plan B is somewhere else inside of the Philippines, trying to find an area. Plan C might be another Asian country, but there's got to be a plan to go home, go back to the States. Maybe go back to Indiana. I'd have a place I could stay while I find my own place. I could stay with my two sisters that I stayed with, find a place in Terre Haute, and settle down there, or maybe somewhere else in Indiana. But that would be my last resort. That's the last choice. And it's not a choice I want to make. It's going to be a desperate choice. In other words, nothing else going to work out for me. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. I can, but like I said, my plan A is Philippines, Cebu. Plan B is Philippines, somewhere else. Plan C is maybe another Asian country. And plan desperate is back home. Hey, Tim, how you doing, man? Thank you for coming. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. We got a few people here, and we're glad they're all here. Yeah, like I said, there's parts of Indiana I really like, but it's the affordability. I couldn't afford Indianapolis, not and live in a decent area. I could afford Terre Haute, not the best areas, but I can afford a decent area in Terre Haute. Maybe down in southern Indiana, I might be able to afford that as well, which would leave less snow than my part of Indiana, which is less snow than Buffalo and Rochester area. Yeah, Indiana, my part of Indiana, you probably average somewhere around a couple feet of snow in winter, and that's it. But although I can remember winters where we don't get any snow at all. Yeah, but it's not just the affordability, Dan. That is a big part of it. It's also the comfortability. How comfortable am I going to be living in that area? Maybe I can't take the poverty that's that's so evident in some of the areas compared to other areas. But maybe it's the walkability or the lack thereof. Evansville would not be bad. It's down there close to Kentucky, and I have a cousin. My cousin's oldest son is down in I want to say Kentucky, which is not too far from Evansville, if I remember right. I think Tim has I don't think Tim wants a roommate. I know Tim. But yeah. No, like I said, Tim, I don't mind poor. It's the abject poverty that you see sometimes on the street. Also, like I said, can I walk the sidewalk the way I want? It's just a vibe. That's what I was telling Dan, Tim. You don't want a roommate. You can have one. Pretty little thing, probably too, if you wanted one. But nah, if I stayed here in the States, especially if I'm going to stay in this area, I'd probably have to get a roommate, and I don't want a roommate unless she's warm and cuddly. But no, I could not afford to stay here and not work, to not have a decent life at all. Like I said, back in Indiana, I might be able to pull it off to where that would be better than here. It still wouldn't be as good as what it would be in the Philippines, I don't believe. And, like I said, I would probably have to spend in Indiana, probably counting my electricity and stuff like that, a little over a third of my income once I quit working. Now, that 350, is that a one bedroom or a studio? And La Hogue, is that in Cebu or that's in Cebu, right? See, now 350, that's affordable. I can do the 350. Even if that didn't include my utilities, I could do the 350. I would prefer it included it. Don't get me wrong. But I know for the 1 month it probably included everything, but could I find a one bedroom or for around that with at least the electricity included, even if I had to pay for the internet and stuff? The water, like I said, the utilities. If I could find all the utilities included, even if it didn't include the internet and cable, that would be very doable for me. But like I said, I'm not worried just about the price is part of it. It's how do I feel? I know that, like I said, when I first get there, I'm going to be in love with the place. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, like I said, I can handle that for a little while. I don't know how long I can handle that. I know when I first get there, because I don't think I'd be in the room all the time. But after a while, there's going to be times I'm going to want to just stay home and not do anything. So would that be big enough? That would be a concern after a month or two. In the first month or so, outside of the first couple of days where I'm going to be sleeping a lot, See, now that's a little more than what I'd want to spend. I'm not saying I couldn't spend it, but that would be a big chunk out of what I want to have my budget on. But not if it included all my utilities, it would be doable, very doable. I could do that. Like I said, there again, it would have to include everything. And there again, I'd have to watch my rest of my spending. But I could do it. I could live comfortably that way, because that would still leave me a fair amount of money to spend on going out and doing things. And the first month or so, you're going to overspend. You always, whenever I've gone somewhere, the first month or two, I usually overspend. So when I go on vacation, I usually overspend. Because that's what you're doing. And when I first get there, that's what's going to feel like a vacation. So until you get over that vacation feeling and know, hey, this is where I'm living. This is what I got to watch out for. This is what I got to spend. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'll probably rent a place like that $350 a month if I get that for a month or two while I look around. Well, yeah, Tim. But like I said, when I first get there, I want to look and see what it costs me. Like that, if I can find a place for like $450, $500, that looks like a really nice place, and do a month or two there. Rent it for a month or two. Then while you're looking, seeing at least a month, while you try to decide if you like it. If you do, see if they'll give you a long term or give you a discount. Because I really do plan on making Cebu at first my long term. Because like I said, if I decide I don't want to stay there, I want a place to travel from. So I want a home base while I go out and don't look at the horizon. All right, I won't look at the horizon, Dan. I'll take you at your word. But so, like I said, I'll go out and I'll thank you, Hannah Jane. We appreciate you still being in the background. But like I said, I will definitely go. Yeah, I've heard that about a few places. That's why the first month, I may just get, when I first get there, I may just get a hotel, and then look into the Airbnbs and try to find what I like the looks of, and then stay and see if I like it itself. All this is still up in the air. But I'm going to need a place when I first get there. So whether I do an Airbnb sight unseen outside of the pictures, I may see if anybody knows a good agent, realtor agent in Cebu. I know Dan dealt with one, so maybe somebody like her let her know what I'm looking for. See if she can help me find something before I get there. But I know that costs a little bit more because you got to pay for her time. But that's all right. I need a place to stay, and I want to find something quick. But all right, I'll check with you again, Dan, before I go. About a month or so before I go, once I know when I'm going for sure, and I'll check that out and see if I can find a room to have, like I said, a place to hang my hat. Like I said, I don't plan on taking my big computer here, at least not when I first go. I bought a new laptop. I got to set it up. I'll take that one with me. I may ship this over later. And I may decide not to. Right now, it depends on what it would cost me to ship it over. I know things are more expensive over there. But I've already had this one for 5-6 years, so it's not exactly what you call new. So, yeah, I've had it for at least 5 years. I'd say 6, but at least 5 years. All right. Now, that's not too expensive. Let me see. Yeah, that's not too expensive. That's about 300, maybe a little less. Well, yeah, that's not bad. Eileen, how you doing? Thank you for coming. I'm doing quite well. Like I said, I finally will be figuring out what I'm going to do about my dental. I have a dental appointment about 10 o'clock Monday morning. It's a place about 5 miles or so from where I live. Maybe a little bit more, but not much. So I'll go see her, the dentist, and see if I can do a partial. And if I can, then I will do the partial. If I can't, I may just decide to heck with it, live with that until I get to the Philippines and try to. Now, all right. Now, is this the 18 suites you're talking about? Cleans your room, or both of them? Because that sounds like a good deal for a person like me, where they clean the room. Because I hate cleaning. I hate doing dishes too, but I do the dishes because I like eating. If I didn't like eating, I probably wouldn't do dishes. That's one of the reasons why I order out more than I probably should. But yeah, we try to do it, But I would love to have some place where they actually clean it for me. All right. Now, like I said, though, Dan, there's 18 suites, and MIT residents do both of them clean your room once a week, or just the 18 suites? Because that's going to be that may be a deciding factor. And I mean, if it costs me a little bit each week, I don't care. I'll pay for that if they'll do it, as long as it's not outrageous. I know you had one place, I can't remember which place it was, but you said one place it cost something like $8 a week. You pay $8 and they come in and clean it once or twice a week. Ooh, I like that. Places I can walk to fairly easy. And I do like my coffee. And McDo and Jollibee both have coffee. Can I take my own cup in case they're out of cups? No large cup, that's all right. Here's mine. Fill it. Yeah. I like my coffee in the morning. Well, like I said, as long as it's not too expensive, that's fine with me, Dan. If it's not real expensive, I'll pay for a room cleaning. I mean, to me, that's worth it. Like I said, I'm the kind of person I don't like cleaning apartments. I mean, I need to clean my apartment right now, and I haven't got to it like I should. I do it, but I not like I should do it. I mean, you should do it 2 or 3, at least once a week. I don't do it that often. I should, but if I can afford it, I'd pay somebody to do it here. And there's people that would do it here, but I have to check in to see how much it would cost because I'm more worried about saving money. That's not too bad. Now, how far of a walk is it? I don't know how much walking I'll actually do when I first get there until you get used to the heat. But if I can adjust to that, I may be willing to walk more than a block or two. Like I said, in some areas, I wouldn't mind having a bicycle. I just don't know how safe it would be to ride a bicycle in Cebu, because you'd probably have to ride on the road out in the street. And I know there's probably people that do it, but they're not going to be crazy enough to do it. It's one of the things I like about Cebu is I won't need my own transportation. That is a plus for Cebu. There's a lot of public transportation. You got Grab, so you got good ways to get around fairly easy. And if you live like Dan was saying at 18 Suites, you're close to where you can walk to places. Okay. Like I said, once I get adjusted to the heat, I don't mind a 20-minute walk if my feet can take it. Like I said, I've been having trouble with my feet the last year, so we'll have to see. But like I said, I used to walk 3 miles without stopping for an hour. I'd walk an hour. I get on the treadmill, put it at an incline of 3, walk at a speed of 3 for an hour, which is 3 miles in 1 hour, and not take a break. I used to do that quite a bit, like 3, 4 times, maybe 5 times a week. But at least 3, most of the time 4 or 5. Every week when I was up in Rochester area. And I would, Tim, in Iloilo, they have bicycle paths. They got that, what they call the river walk, which is for riding bicycles, walking, jogging. They're not supposed to have any vehicles on it. Yeah, I do want to go to that area. I don't know if I'll see Batman or not, but that's an area I definitely want to go to. If I go next year, I'll miss Sinulog. But I will, Tim. Footwear is something I just bought a new pair of shoes. I'll buy another pair before I go, maybe 2. I got a nice pair of sandals, water sandals that are good. Those would only be worn if I'm going out in the where I'm going to get into a lot of water. Or I wouldn't wear them around town very much at all. I wear tennis shoes with good insoles. So yeah, like I said, my feet is the only thing that'll keep me from walking as much as I'd like would be my feet. That's one of the things, like I said, I like about Iloilo is what they call the river walk. They got this pathway they built around the river. It's a nice long pathway, and it's not supposed to be vehicles on there. It's for riding bicycles, walking, jogging, that kind of stuff. They got places that you can stop and rest. But I don't know if I can afford Iloilo. They got a good hospital. They got one that takes TRICARE. I don't know if you have TRICARE, Tim. I don't, but they have a TRICARE hospital that's qualified for TRICARE. You pay your 0.25%. Then they take care of it. You don't have, and they'll take care of it to make sure TRICARE pays the other 75% of your medical, which for military people that are on TRICARE is sounds like a great hospital to have around. So it must be a good hospital. Now, I could not live in what they call Mega City of the Riverwalk area, but I could visit that area. I could get there fairly easy. The what they call the Mega World of the Riverwalk area is the newest area. That's the area they're building up, and so it's a little more expensive probably there than if you're just outside of it. I wear working boots and I wear tennis shoes. The problem I had, and it started last year when I was working at the port, I like to walk. I really do. I like to walk. And I was walking 10,000 steps or more back then. And well, I'm going to buy some. I got to check with the VA. I got to check my new tennis shoes. The Arch Sport are just about as good as the pair they gave me to try. Now it could be that pair is worn out, but so I have to see if I can get another one to try with this pair. And if not, then they're going to give me a pair that they made, especially made to fit your feet, and they're good supposedly for a year. I'll see if I can get a couple pair. I'm willing to pay for them and to keep them back for when one pair wears out, you can use the other, or maybe find some place in Asia that makes those. I'm sure they've got people that do it somewhere. It won't be cheap, but it won't be cheap here if I do it outside the VA. My mom had to do that with her feet. But like I said, I didn't start having trouble with my feet until I was working at the port, and I walked around a lot, and I had in some of the areas I had to walk on gravel, and I walked on gravel a lot, and every once in a while I hit a spot that hurt the foot. I think that's what damaged my feet. Now, it's been long enough, it should have been healed, but it hasn't held up. So there's something going on. I'll find out. The lady said my arch was starting to fall, so that might have caused it. But yeah, you got to have good support for your feet. Now the sandals I have, they're all right, but yeah, I'd be more than willing to pay $40 if they would take care of my feet. Yeah, once your feet start bothering you, your flip flops are not good for them. Not if you're going to do a lot of walking. Like I said, I always try to get shoes with extra arch support. The pair I'm wearing now is the first time I ever bought them. They're called Fit Villa, Fitville, and they got a wider toe area, which I need, and because I got a wide foot, so it gives you a wider toe area, so it helps your toes spread out better. And I don't wear flip flops. Well, I do, but I wear flip flops as shower shoes. Even in my own apartment, I no matter where I'm at, I wear it. Tim, I don't think you were Navy, but you probably did the same thing in the service. I think you were Air Force. I could be wrong, but you probably did the same thing. Wore shower shoes in boot camp, and a lot of times after that, I wore shower shoes ever since boot camp. The only time I don't wear shower shoes is if I was taking a bath, and I hate baths. I used to love to take a bath, but you take a bath and you got to drain the water out, stand up, and rinse yourself off with a shower. So the only time I want to take a bath is I'm sore, and I'm doing it to soak, not to get clean, just to let that hot water soak your muscles and relax them. But yeah, I have a couple pairs of flip flops, and they're not cheap. But I bought them so, like I said, for shower shoes. I got some Crocs, which you can wear similar to a flip flop, but they also have the back of them. They're more like a sandal. I got a pair that's more like a flip flop, except for they got a double finger cross, and I don't like them as much, so I don't wear them. I do have them, but I don't wear them. I wear sandals or shoes. It doesn't matter. Like I said, Tim, even in my own house, I wear flip flops to take a shower. It's just that's just the way it is. I've been that way for years. So even in my own apartment, and I'm single, I live by myself, I still wear flip flops to take a shower. When I step in my flip flops are in the tub. When I take my slippers off, I step right into the flip flops and take my shower, and then dry, and I dry my feet last and step out of the shower and put them right into the sandals. That's the way I've done it all my adult life. I might not have done it when I first got out of the service, but I just didn't feel right, so I started doing it. And like I said, even when I was on shore duty, we had our own shower, and it was for a long time. I lived by myself because my roommate moved off base, and the only time he was there was on the his duty day. I still use flip flops. It's just something that I've always done, and I'm not likely to change. Dan, that is a place I would consider as long as they got a decent hospital. Like I said, I worry about I want a good hospital. That is the one requirement I want is a good hospital close by. I'm not talking about St. Luke's type of hospital. I think that's the one up in Manila that's really good. I want a good one that if something happens, they can stabilize me and get me there or get me to a better one. Now, Dan, I know you're building a rental house. It'd be a nice place to rent, to look for a place of my own. I like the idea of, like you said, your streets kind of shut down at night, so it's pretty safe because you got somebody at the one end, and that's the only way they can come in or go out, so they know who's in and out. I like that. But I don't know if I want to live in a house. You know, I've been an apartment condo type person all my adult life. Outside when I was staying with my family, I've lived in apartments, and that's what I'm kind of used to. And as a single person, the smaller my place, that I can afford to hire somebody to clean it. You're probably right, Tim. They'd probably think, "What the heck's going on? We're being invaded." So, yeah, rooming, like I said, it would be a good place to start. Just maybe stay while you look for a place more permanent. If I was going to move to Bye, if you had the room, that's what I would do with it. I would be a place to stay until I found something more permanent, something that would suit my lifestyle a little more. Which would be, like I said, I would like a 1-bedroom. But can I afford it? Now, if I was going to rent a house, I'd want 2 or 3 bedroom. But like I said, I couldn't afford that inside the city of Cebu, I don't think. But we'll see. Like I said, we're going to get there, try to figure out where I want to live, whether it's Cebu or Iloilo, Bye, or Davao, or somewhere else. We'll give it all a try and see what happens. I know if I go to Val, then I got Danny and his wife and Jamie and his woman, not too far away. They don't live in Davao itself, Davao City. They don't live too far from there. They come into town once in a while. So I'd have some people I can visit with once in a while. They come into town. Iloilo, don't know anybody I'm not following anybody that lives there anymore. The person I did follow that lived there moved out in a province somewhere. So that would just be a complete restart. Same thing with Cebu. I do know Dan that comes over once in a while. He's not too far away. Like I said, there's also Dumaguete and Valencia, which are areas I want to visit. I don't think I'd live there. least in Valencia, I think it's too far out and too far away from everything for me. I would love their Sunday markets, but I don't know if I'd like the rest of it. So Tim, I hope you have a great time. Like I said, I went back to Terre Haute for a week and really enjoyed it. I was sorry for the reason I had to go home because my second to the oldest sister had a heart attack, and I had to have a balloon to clear. She had like 90% blockage or something, so she had to have a balloon to clear the blockage. Then she had to have a surgery to put a stent in. And like I said, she got home the same day I got there for the rehabilitation center. She's got to wear this device they call a life jacket, but she wears that and monitors to her heart. And if her heart stops, it will release a gel and then release a shock to start it again. If that happens, then you got to call 911. Get her to the hospital. Probably have to go back to the rehabilitation center. Like I said, Dad, there's certain things I know I would like about it, but there's certain things I'm not sure about. At one time, they were the only place in the Philippines that I had a 911 system. The Philippines is getting ready to go to a nationwide 911, from what I'm hearing. So that kind of opens that up. But that was one of the things I liked about Davao. Another thing I like about Davao is it's supposed to be very clean. It's more laid out, so it's not compressed where you're right in top of each other. That kind of sounds like it might be nice, but I'm not sure. It's just I'm looking at things I like about stuff, but you don't know how it's going to feel once you get there. Will you like the vibe of the place, the energy, and so it's just something I'd like to check out. Like I said, Elo right now would be my number 2 choice right now. Because like I said, it's got the walkability. If I can't walk a lot, I could buy a bicycle. Got an area you can really ride your bicycle and be quite safe. So that appeals to me. They got one of the cleanest rivers in the Philippines. About 10 years ago, they spent a lot of money, maybe over 10 years now. But they spent a lot of money, cleaned the river up, built this river walk, and they really try to keep it clean and the whole city. So that appeals to me. So like I said, it just, Dad, which one reminds you of home? Davao or Iloilo, or what are you talking about? Like I said, Iloilo's got a lot of new buildings going up, new apartments, condos. I don't plan on buying. If I was to buy, I would look for a repo. In other words, a condo that's been repossessed by the bank, and see if you can make a deal and buy it much cheaper than the going rate. Maybe just take over what the good person owed and work out a payment so you can pay that off. That would be, I think, the way to go if you're going to buy a condo. Buy one that somebody felled. You don't want to see somebody fell, but they do fell. They do overestimate what they can afford to pay, or so you might as well look and see if you can take advantage of that if you're going to buy. I would not buy property because I'm single. I'm not Filipino, so I can't own property. Now, one of my new favorite players for my Indianapolis Colts is a Filipino black man. He goes to the Philippines a lot. He wants to buy property there and build things up. He's trained with Danielle Pacquiao. He's got pictures of him with him. And he's trained with him. He goes back during the off season a lot. No, you're right. Unless you get a fairly new one, which should outlast yourself, it's not really a good investment. I would not buy it as an investment to rent or something like that. It would be, can I buy it with a lower price than what it would cost me to rent? If I couldn't do that, I wouldn't do it. Like Dan, he built that house. Now he has no rent. That's what I would try to do if I was going to do something. Let's get it to where I can get my rent where once it's taken care of, my rent is no longer a problem. It's real cheap. Like, if you buy a condo, then you got the condo fees. But that's cheap compared to rent. Well, damn, my number is 0. In other words, they never get to me. Like I said, I might like Dumageddon. I might. Like I said, I want to visit it. There's so many vloggers I've seen from there that I would love to go see it. And then, like I said, I want to go see the Valencia, the Sunday market. So whenever I go to Dumageddon, I'm going to have to spend at least a week, probably a week and a half or something, so I can run up to Valencia for the Sunday markets once or twice to check it out. Like I said, you don't buy it. For me, if I bought a condo, it's not to try to make money off of it. If I was going to buy a condo, it's to try to save myself money. So I'm not paying somebody else rent. I'm buying it. It's going to be mine. Once it's paid off, that saves me money. I would try to get it set up. Like I said, I would want to get one that's been repoed and get it set up to where it's less than what if I was renting. So let's say if you rented the same apartment for $500 a month, all right? And you can get one just like it, exactly like it, same location, same everything, same side of the buildings, same dimensions, same, everything the same. But you can get one that's repoed and maybe you can pay only $300 a month, counting your condo fees. Or maybe it's $500 a month, but that's your condo and you're buying it. So now, instead of giving $500 to somebody you'll never get back, you're buying the place. And once you got it paid off, all you're paying is the condo fee. That's the only way I would buy a condo. I would not buy it to rent out to somebody. Because now you got to worry about getting the money back. Yeah, I agree, Tim. I would never do it unless I knew this is it. I'm done. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm settled down. Here's where I'm going to live till I die. Only way I'd buy a condo. Only way I'd buy a house. I don't know if I can afford to buy a house, but I'd have to be married to a Filipino that I trust completely. Because, as you know and I know, we can't own property. Land. We can own a condo. We can even own the house, but we can't own the property it sits on. Well, I agree with you, Dan. Some of these people are just refusing to lower their costs, but it doesn't make sense because their place stays empty. And so, you're paying all that money out and you're not getting anything. Now, if you could rent it for your monthly payment and your condo fees with a little over that, you're coming out ahead. You're breaking even if you can rent it for what your payment is in the condo fees. You're not losing money. So even doing that is better than just letting it sit empty. But some of these people think, oh no, I'm not gonna, I got this kind of money before, I'm gonna get it again and I'll let it sit empty. And a year later it's still sitting empty. And for that year, they lost money the whole year. And like I said, that's where some of these people end up going broke. So if you go in, you might be able to get it at a much reduced price because they still owe the bank money, and you can buy it from the bank for what they owe the bank instead of what they paid for it. That's the way if you're going to buy a condo. That's the way to buy it. Don't buy one where you go through the condo itself, the building itself. Find a good condo that's fairly new. You go in and everybody says, hey, they keep it up. They do a great job. Then you find one or two condos in there that somebody lost their condos because of been repossessed. Check with the banks. Hey, I'm looking at this area here, these condos. This condo unit are let's say Marco Polo or MIT, one of those places, wherever. And you say, I'm thinking about getting a condo in one of those places. Do you have any that's been repossessed, and how much would it cost me to buy it? And you go in and you say, well, this is how much do they still owe? Well, I'll pay you that. I'll pay you that. Here's this much money down. And yeah, like I said, that you really got to look at it as don't go in to buy a new one or buy one from somebody that's. Go in and see if you can find one that's been repossessed and get it. You can get it much cheaper. Unless you can find a guy that says, "Hey, look, this is what I owe on it, and that's what I want to sell for it." You go and yeah, but I don't want to live in the back 40. I'm a city boy, born and bred. Now, small town city boy, or a big town boy, or a small city boy, however you want to look at it. But yeah, I'm not a country boy. That's my cousin George. He's country. I'm city. He's got 5 acres out in the country he loves. And he's the one that's into gyro. A gyro is like a motorcycle engine type plane or helicopter. They're small, 1 or 2 people. He's got his license for flying by himself. He's working on getting his license where he can take people with him. I think he'll even be able to train people to do it. He's been working on that for almost a year now, so he's almost done, hopefully. He's got another test or so to take. So far, he's passed all his tests. So he's almost done. I think he'll finish off, if everything goes right, by the end of summer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking more of the downtown options. I want to look for something that's affordable to me. That I'm not looking for IT park or anything like that. I'm not looking for something that upscale. But I do want something that's nice. It's like where I live. One of these days I'll do enough after I get it cleaned up. Maybe I'll do a thing on my apartment, show you my apartment. I'm not even looking for something as big as what I have. My bedroom is almost double the size of what I need if my living room was bigger. I don't need it much bigger, and I don't need all the furniture. Like I have a nice size apartment. I'd have to find out what size it is. And well, I'm sure I'll find something that works, that I can afford and be comfortable. But like I said, where will I find it? And I don't just mean comfortable as far as in my apartment. I mean, as far as being out in that area. I don't mind an area that's poor. I just don't want poverty. It's really, like I said, it's something I'm looking forward to doing. Is moving to the Philippines. still got to get my, like I said, my DD 214, an original copy. All my copies that I have now are copies of copies. So that's not good. But I didn't do it this time home because, well, it was a holiday week. And just not a good, plus, like I said, I went home to see my sister. My next trip home will probably be, late fall. I may go later than I normally like to go. Might go in October. I usually prefer September. So I may go in October. Because I got to build up time off. I might even go in November but the thing with that is that's where you can get a lot of snow. I was thinking about Thanksgiving because I got to take 2 days off anyway. Take that whole week off, but do I really want to? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jan. If I live in Cebu, I'm not buying a trike. I'll either walk to where I want to go or grab one of the. The Cebu don't have trikes. I don't think they have trikes. But grab a motorcycle taxi or grab something like that. Now, if I live in a different city, buying a trike might be a doable thing. I appreciate that, Christina. Thanks for saying. But it just, it's. Oh, what kind of message was that? But it all depends on where I live. I would like to live, like I said, I'd like to live somewhere where I really don't need my own transportation. But if I need to, that's fine. Like I said, I used to ride a bike. I used to ride a 750. Matter of fact, it was one of the first 4-cylinders, and Honda called it a 754 with 750 FOUR. The FOUR was spelled out to let you know it was a 4-cylinder. They made them that way for 3 years, and then they just started calling them CB 750s. Very easy bike to ride. But I would never get one that large in the Philippines. I don't know if I'd go over a 250. I don't even know if I'd go that large. But, I just, right now, I really am not planning on getting my own personal transportation. Because, like I said, I want to live in a city large enough that I don't need it. I would rather take public transportation or walk if possible. Hey, being gay, thanks for staying. But so, like I said, it's just something that once I get there, transportation is something I'll have to take in consideration once I decide where I'm going to live. If I live in Cebu, I'm not getting private transportation. I don't believe I'd want to drive in that mess. Either drive into somebody else, take the jeepneys, take the beat bus, get a grab, like I said, a motorcycle grab, or walk. I'd rather do something like that. Walk as much as possible than do the other free bus, like go catch the free bus at one of the Robinsons and take it to one of the others and all that good stuff. Like I said, I think I can navigate Cebu fairly easy because of watching, Dan's, but Chris in Cebu. That's one of the main reasons why Cebu's number one on my list. Is I've seen enough videos about it. I'm pretty sure I can get around fairly easy there. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to fall in love with the place. I know I will be the first month or two. That's just me. And I'm sorry, guys. Got my hair whacked off this week. It needed it. It was getting way too long. In case you didn't notice, new pair of glasses. I've been needing those, so I finally got them through the VA. Their haircut was should have did it in Terre Haute, would have saved me money. I'll tell you how much the difference is. Where I got my haircut, the haircut itself was $17. Now where I go in Terre Haute, when I go in Terre Haute, the haircut's $5. But like I said, I was there more to see my sister, and just like I didn't want to go deal with that. So I decided I'd do it when I got back, because I did think about doing it. So. Well, I don't know who UNC is, but we're glad to hear you love UNC. Welcome to my channel. 55 UNRI 5E. Well, don't know who you are, so I won't give you a jacket. But if you have a channel and want to, okay, well, thank you. I didn't know I was uncle, but we appreciate it. But 55 URN 5E, if you got a channel, just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your link. But I guess if you want to call me uncle, I'm old enough to be uncle or grandpa, actually, to some people. Almost out of tea. But yeah, Tim, like I said, you live in an area I would probably want a little more regular transportation. Like I said, depending on where I live, I may want my own transportation. But if I live in Cebu, in the city itself, I shouldn't need my own transportation. There should be plenty of public transportation that I can take and afford. That I shouldn't have to have it. And if I need to travel farther, it should be affordable, because I shouldn't be doing this more than once a month or so. It'd be better to hire a driver or take the bus. Although what I hear about buses, I'm not sure I want to take a bus. And some of the van drivers, I guess, aren't that much better, but we'll see. But yeah, all that, like I said, Tim, right now I could move to the Philippines right now and set myself up in a decent apartment. Not a great one, not a decent one, but I won't be able to. That's all I'm looking for, is a decent apartment. And but that would not leave me much money for emergencies or getting a personal vehicle. That's one of the reasons why I got to work until next year, hopefully not very long into next year, so I can have that money. And I'll have a fair size amount of money over what I got right now. And I'll be able to go over, find myself a place to live, and have money for emergencies. And that's what I want. And then if I decide to move somewhere else where I'm going to need public transportation, I'll have money for that. I mean, private transportation, I'll have money for that. Because my monthly budget, when I say budget, I'm talking about what I plan on spending, not what I have coming in. I'm looking at between $1,200 to $1,500 a month. All right. Now, I have more than that coming in, but that's what I'm looking to spend. Because I want to be able to put money back every month. And I want to be able to put back a certain amount. So I can build up that emergency fund and make it even bigger and better. And yeah, don't you mean you would rent Tim's tracking driver from Tim? So anyway, I wonder why that doesn't show up there. It shows up here. But so anyway, like I said, all that comes into play. Like I'm going to have a certain amount that I'm set. I have a goal to have a certain amount of money, and I'll reach that goal next year. And without having to, I shouldn't have to extend my rental agreement, which means at the end of March, I should be set. Now, that doesn't mean I won't extend it for a month to get a little more or get a couple things done. I don't plan on it. But like I said, that's right now is up in the future. And so anyway, that's my goal right now is to have a certain amount of money, which I'll reach if everything goes right by March. And then I got to get rid of all my stuff. I'll try to sell that in March because I'm not. Hey, Monroe, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming. I don't plan on taking any of my furniture. I have to decide about my desktop computer. I may ship that over, and I'm kind of leaning towards doing that, but I may not do it. Depends on what it's going to cost me. And then I have to sell my car and all my furniture, and what I don't sell, I have to get rid of somehow. And I'll use that money. Hopefully, it'll be more than enough to pay for my plane ticket. If not, I'll have the money. It'd just be nice not to have to dip into my other money. But we'll know, like I said, we'll have more to talk about next week. Like I said, I'll have my dental appointment on 10 o'clock Monday morning. And we'll get that taken care of and find out what I can do. Yeah, Dan, Tim's going to be in Canada visiting his family, going back home. I don't know how often I'll be able to go back home. Probably not the first year at all. The second year maybe, but not the first year. Unless it's towards the end of the year, because like I said, I got to have that. I want a certain amount of money back for emergencies. And so if I go back home, that cuts into that money until I get to where I want it. I'll get it to where I want to feel safe enough to go over, but I want to build it up. And so maybe I'll build it up enough that I'm willing to use that money, some of that money, to go home, see the family. That will be something I'll have to decide later. It's nothing I'm going to decide now. I may never go back home. One doesn't know. I may get over there and not feel like I'm healthy enough to travel back and forth, and I'll just stay. And so we'll see. But like I said, we're looking into all that. We're going to check. I'm going to subscribe to Jennifer Terry. Start following her videos a little more. See some other things going on. But like I said, it's something we're trying to figure out. Like my whiteboard video says, it's things you got to look at. I got to decide who I want to be able to, how should I say, be able to check on my banking stuff and all that. I'm leaning toward one of my nephews. I may decide to go with a niece or a great nephew or great niece. Right now, I'm leaning toward one of my nephews if he's willing to do it. I know he won't want my money. He got more money than I've ever had. But we'll see. I got to talk to him. I can't just assume that he's willing to do it. Or if he'll be able to do it. But that's like I said. I got to set up a mailbox, but I don't want to do that this soon. This soon. I got to decide where I can ship my. I do want to ship a Byline box or two over there after a while because, but that's stuff I got time to figure out. But I can't really figure that out until I know what I'm doing, when I'm going, especially the mailbox. Some of the others I can start getting into a little more here soon. But I can't do the mailbox. I can't do the e-travel. The e-travel I have to do within a couple of days of traveling, probably at the same day. There is very early. Sammy, how you doing? Thanks for coming. I've been going over 2.5 hours, Sammy. I don't know how much longer I'll be going. I wasn't planning on going this long when I started, but yeah. But Sam, in case you haven't heard, right now it's looking like I'll be moving to the Philippines early next year. Like I said, I'm planning on one, but I'll even go up higher than what I said. You want to know the truth, Tim, but I'm going to try to keep it within that if I can. Now, I may get there and find out I can't do that because of the cost of stuff, and I'll have to raise my budget. And like I said, my budget is what I plan on spending, not what I have coming in. My budget is less than my income, which I believe your budget should always be less than your income. I will not always live my life that way. That's why I don't have a lot of money. For a long time, I lived outside of my budget, over my income sometimes. And so I'd have to cut way back and get it paid off and do the same thing all over again. And that's the way I lived my life for a long time. So I finally get things straightened out. But like I said, my budget is going to be, well, like I said, so I want to try to keep it between 1,200 and 1,500 US. If I have to, I can go a little higher, but I prefer to keep it lower. Like I said, lets me save more money towards emergencies. But I got to have a comfortable lifestyle. I got to be able to do things. So if I have to go higher to do that, I will. As long as I'm saving some money, I'll be happy. Because remember, we're probably going to get a haircut on our Social Security later on. So if the more I can keep it, the better I'll be able to absorb that haircut. So that's why I'd like to find a place I really like and just kind of settle down in one area. That doesn't mean I won't change condos every once in a while, because you know how it goes. You may get a new owner who doesn't do as well, or maybe you'll get some neighbors that just drive you crazy. I know that if you watch my before I was Lazy Larry, when I talked about my childhood, you know I lived in almost 18 houses by the time I was 12. My family moved a lot, and that was because it was my father. It was my father. He drove semis cross country. So anyway, if he had a neighbor he decided he didn't like, we would move, because he didn't want to come home and get in arguments with people over stuff, something that he just didn't want to do it. When he came home, he wanted to have peace and quiet. One time we moved, great house, great neighbors. We moved there during the winter. Well, that summer, there's this Coke plant. And I don't mean Coca-Cola. Coke is what they make out of coal. And but anyway, there was this Coke plant not too far south from where we lived, and it stunk. It smelled. And my dad came home, and the wind was blowing towards the house from the Coke plant, and he said something about the smell. He didn't like it. One of our neighbors, like I said, we got along great with the neighbors. Great neighbor, really was. Not really nice neighborhood. Great house for our family. But my dad looked at our neighbor and he says, "I don't want to get used to it." Being perfectly honest about it, he would never be home long enough to get used to it. He'd come home, be home for a day or two, then he's gone again for a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. Because, like I said, he drove across country. So we ended up moving again. And then we moved from there to another place. And like I said, by the time I hit 12 years old, I lived in 18 houses, went to 6 different elementary schools. And one of them I went twice, so I changed schools 7 times in elementary. Then we moved to where we lived when I was 12. We lived there until I went in the Navy. So that was the longest I ever lived in one place until after I got out of the service. And that was basically about 5.5 years, basically. A little over 5.5 years, because I left there in March. We moved there in June, the year I was 12. And I left there after I hit 18. So I was going on 13 when we moved there, I believe. So I lived there about 6 years, and that's as long as I lived anywhere for, years. And now the longest place I've ever lived was in Leroy, the place I was at before I actually moved into this one. I stayed at a place for about a month. I don't count that. But when I was living in Leroy, I lived there for 15 or 16 years in one apartment. Now that apartment wasn't as nice as this. It was a nice apartment, but it wasn't as nice as this. And when I moved from there, I moved here. Well, I moved almost every move I ever made as an adult, I moved myself. I didn't hire anybody to do it. Now, there was a time or two, my nephew helped. There was a time a friend of mine helped. But outside of that, I did all the moving. So I moved myself from Leroy down here to Waterville back in 21, in January 21. Well, moved to Waterville in February 21. I stayed at a friend's parents' house for a little over a month. And then I moved myself down here to this apartment in February of 21. And I moved everything myself. My bed, my TV, all my furniture. I did it all myself. And I swore to God when I got done, I'm never moving myself again. That's it. I'm done. I'm getting too old for that. So when I leave here, I basically am moving myself. I'm getting rid of everything. I'm not taking much with me. I'm going to become a very minimalist. And so I won't be moving a lot of the couple backpacks. I'll pack up a couple of boxes to ship over later, unless I decide to find out how long it takes. Maybe they'll make it why I have that Airbnb set up for that length of time, so I can get the boxes over there for that, and then find a place to live. And it's just going to be a couple boxes. I'm going to take some family photos and books, and I may take my computer, and that'll be about all I take. I'm not taking no, I'm not taking a lot of stuff. I'll get rid of most of my stuff. So we'll see how everything goes. All right, Sammy, you take care, man. Don't work too hard. I'm sorry if I missed it. Like I said, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be going. I've been going quite a while. I'm over 2.5 hours already. So anyway, it's getting closer. It's getting a little more real. It's getting more real the closer it gets. I got home and I realized I didn't do that about getting the DD-214. And but then again, like I said, I'm at this point because I'm going to go back again. I'll do it then. This trip was more for to see my sister, make sure she's okay. So anyway, that's how things are going. And folks, I've been going over 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think I'm going to call it a live stream. I want to thank everybody for coming. I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope you all have a great week. This upcoming week is great. That everything goes your way and you have a great time and your family's all well. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and end this one at 2 hours and 42 minutes. So take care, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Let's try to have